All right, this is the part 2 of the chapter 10 homework video. I can't remember if we did this one yet, so no, I don't think we did. Okay, so this is number 7. So in this one we are solving for principal. So the formula to solve for principal is interest divided by rate times time. So interest divided by rate times time, and that's going to give you your principal. So we are given the rate, the time, and the amount of interest. So we're just going to plug into this formula. Principal equals interest. So interest is on the top, over rate. Remember, we have to change the rate to a decimal. So it's 0.0725, and time is 3.5 years, and they've chosen to express that in terms of months. So on the denominator of the time fraction, we're going to have 12 because there are 12 months in 1 year. And on the top, we're going to multiply 12 times 3.5. So 12 times 3 is 36, and 12 times 3.5 is 42. So a half of 12 is 6, so we're going to add that to the 36, and that's 3.5 years in terms of months. So once you multiply all this out, this is your answer. Again, multiply the bottom part and then go ahead with dividing the numerator by the denominator. All right, next one. Okay, and this one is solving for the rate, number 8. So the formula for solving for the rate is rate equals interest over principal times time. So again, we're just going to fill in. Here's the interest over the principal times time. The time is 24 months. Remember, the bottom has to be, we're talking about months, but the bottom has to be in terms of a year. So 12 months out of a year. You could also just say 5,800 times 2, because 24 over 12 equals 2. So you multiply that out, and you come up with a rate of 0.02, or that's the answer you come up with. To change it to a rate, you have to change it to a percentage. So you're going to take that decimal point, go 2 places to the right, and add your percent sign. Okay, so this is probably the most difficult of the problems, the one that uses the U.S. rule, and you have to calculate interest for various time periods, and then the interest you pay back at the end of the period. So, the question is to solve for the total interest cost. That is a several year or several step process. Let's go down here and take a look. So first we're going to solve for total interest cost, and then we solve for the balances on the 100th day and the 180th day. That's the principal balance, okay? And then also for the final payment. So here's our information. Principal is 12.5, interest rate is 5%, and time is 240 days. They tell you to use ordinary interest, and remember that O right there is going to remind you that ordinary interest is 360 days, okay? Partial payments. So first partial payment on the 100th day is $5,000, and on that 180th day is $3,000. So we're using ordinary interest, which is 360. And to determine interest, we're going to use our interest formula, which is principal times rate times time. So, for the first you have to determine interest for these first 100 days before this payment. So our principal is going to be $12,500 from day 1 to day 100. So, principal, here's our principal, times rate was 5%. We convert that to a decimal, which is 0.05, times time. So we're using the ordinary interest method, and the balance of the loan is going to stay at $12,500 for 100 days. And that's when he's going to make this extra $5,000 payment. So if we divide or multiply all this out, we get $173.61. So he makes a payment on the 100th day. Here's his $5,000. But the U.S. rule says that first we have to subtract the interest owed from that principal payment. So we're going to subtract $173.61 from $5,000. We get $4,826.39. This is the amount of his $5,000 payment that is actually going to reduce his loan principal. So if we take the principal, then we subtract this number, then the adjusted balance is $7,673.61. Okay, so for the second payment, he makes the second payment up here in our original information on the 180th day for $3,000. So we have from day 180, from day 100 until day 180 to calculate the interest for, okay? So that is 80 days, 180 minus 100. So we're going to use our interest formula. Interest equals principal times rate times time. So principal is the adjusted balance that you just calculated, okay, after that first $5,000 payment. Times the rate, so 5% changed in decimal form, times 80 days over 360 days. Why 360? Because we are using the ordinary interest method. So the interest you calculate on that is $85.26. Now, the U.S. rule says that you have to subtract this interest from the extra payment to get the number, the actual amount that you are reducing your loan. So let me say that a different way. This is the interest from day 100 to day 180. So what the U.S. rule says is that the bank or the lender collects this interest first out of your extra payment. So here's the second extra payment, $3,000. They're going to collect their interest first, $85.26, and then what is left is what you have that will reduce your balance, your principal balance, okay? So now we're going to take the adjusted balance up here, and we're going to subtract this number that we calculated from the adjusted balance, and this is our new adjusted balance. Okay, so we got to day 180, and the term of this loan was 240 days. So we still have 80 days left to go. So we need to calculate the interest for 80 days on the adjusted balance. So now our adjusted balance is $4,758.87. So we're going to take that adjusted balance times the rate times, I'm sorry, I said 80 days. It was actually 60 days left. 60 over 360, and that gives us $39.66. This is the amount of interest owed in those last, on the adjusted balance for those last 60 days. So we're going to take a different step at the end. We're going to take our adjusted balance and we are going to add this amount of interest, okay? Because we have to, with this payment, we're paying off the whole balance, okay? So we take the adjusted balance, we add the amount of interest for the last 60-day period, and this gives us the balance due at the end of the loan. Okay, so to calculate the total interest paid, we calculated 3 different periods of interest. This is for the first 100 days, this is for the second 80 days, and this is for the final 60 days. So when we add all that up, we get $298.53. So that is the answer to the first problem, total interest cost. Now, the balance after the payment on the 100th day and the 80th day, I know you can see those answers right there, but I want to show you where they come from. So this is the first adjusted balance that you calculate after 100 days. 76, 73, 61. Then the adjusted balance after 80 more days is 47.58.87. Okay? And then our final payment we calculated, remember, we took that adjusted balance, we calculated interest on the last 60 days of the loan, added those together, and that gives us our balance due, $47.98.53. Okay, I'm going to go through a few of these word problems quickly. Mainly I'm going to point out things that could trip you up in these. So if you notice, Nolan borrowed money. He borrowed $4,700. Here's our rate. And he borrowed it on December 26th, 2019. And he's paying it off on February 21, 2021. So not only are we going over the end of the year, but we're going through a whole additional year and over the end of another year, okay? So we've got from December 26, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. Then we have the whole year of 2020, and then we have until February 21st in 2021. So if we were to go look at the days in the year table right here, December 31st is the 365th day, and December 26th is the 360th day. So we have 5 days in 2019, 365 days in 2020, and then the number corresponding with February 21 is 52. So 52 days in 2021. And I'll just show you that really quickly on the table for February 21. Okay. So if we go to the February column and 21 row, that's 52 days. Okay? All right. So that is the main thing in this problem, is just be careful with those days. Also with rounding, okay? You may need to go back and do some practice on rounding. If you need assistance with rounding, please let me know and we can go over that. All right, maturity value. Again, we're using the days in a year calendar. Okay, so this does not cross over a year. Remember, maturity value is your principal plus your interest. And there's your solution there. All right, there's another U.S. rule problem. I already went through one of those with you. And these are just word form for the rest of them. So I'll show you this solution here, and